Oh man, I'm loving this jam, and then some. Wait a second, I feel like something's missing here. Wait a second, checking my memo for a moment. I could have sworn I said it's not challenge mode. Oh, that's right, Showdown. Excuse me for a moment, folks. Hello, friends and fellow gamers. My name is tempestmask1000, and welcome to the Shovel Knight Showdown speedrun. Yeah, it's been a bit since I've done an Indiethon, but hey, it's interesting to see that I got accepted for 2 runs here, and you better believe it. By the way, that was a scripted bit, no worries. That I just wanted to give Shovel Knight a cameo because I am, contrary to the name of his namesake, I'm actually not going to be using him for this run, but we'll talk a little bit about that in just a bit. So, yeah, quick housekeeping rules. So, just note that this is a Super Smash Bros. Like platform fighter-esque game that was released as the last major update to all console and PC versions of Shovel Knight. This was excluded from handheld versions for mostly understandable reasons, and all that jazz, because, you know, with a game that's also sort of meant for multiplayer, I figured, Yacht Club probably figured it was more than likely not worth it, but, you know. Aside from that, there is no huge category difference between what character you're playing. All of them are viable for the same leaderboard records. We separate them by difficulty. So for this run, I am going to be doing the medium difficulty, which gives me an average amount of overall continues, and the CPU behavior will be a little bit more aggressive, depending on what they want to do anyway. And last but certainly not least, I do have an option turned on where flashing effects will be reduced or turned off. There are some flashes within the game that unfortunately are not covered by this option. So if you happen to notice maybe an instance or two, I do apologize. Feel free to gauge it out depending on your personal health, because if you are sensitive to flashing lights, then please look after yourselves. Something I always say, and never to be worn out. Alright, with that in mind, we're gonna get this run started, and my character for today will be Baz, a guest character from the Shovel Knight Kickstarter that was funded by the Super Best Friends Play Zaibatsu fellas, Matt and Wooly. This is somebody that they have also contributed to the indie fighting game Dive Kick. It's a bit of a fan favorite, I'd say, even in Shovel Knight. He's my personal favorite character anyway, so yeah, we'll get this thing going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Alright, so this game, for quick mention, by the way, I am playing on the Xbox One. I have an Xbox One S at the helm for today. And, of course, you can play this on a Switch, you can do this on PC, whatever the case, it is all RTA timed, but this game is very, very well optimized. You could say that for just about anything with Shovel Knight in general, because, yeah, regardless of which platform you play on, even the world record for the medium story mode category is something that was done on a Nintendo Switch. So, yeah, play this to whatever leisure you prefer. Always very happy when Yacht Club does that, because I can't say it enough. You know, despite hardware limitations, always look out for your gamer audiences. Optimization, it's merely just a word, version differences is merely just a set of words. Optimization matters is what I meant to say. Pardon. So, we're going to have a quick discussion on what to expect with Showdown, starting with the first match, which is a treasure clash. And the rule set is as follows: collect as many jewels as you can within the time limit, or reach the maximum treasure score to immediately win the bout. Right now, though, you're also going to notice that there is a bunch of items, not unlike Super Smash Bros., each with their own effects, and yeah, I gotta be very mindful of that. You know, it seems Treasure Knight is admittedly the common choice for the faster character, the one that seems to get the most attention when it comes to runs. And I think his moveset very much proved that right there, so that's a little bit expected. I had a feeling that a match against Treasure Knight was going to be undoubtedly one that would see just a little bit of resistance, per se. But let's go ahead and try that one more time. You did notice that I have a overall set of 5 continues. Technically, that's 6 continues if you count having none left, because the game still gives you one more shot. So that's one thing that sets this Shovel Knight apart from others, because you may know that there is no traditional life system in anything Shovel Knight except for Dig, because that's a roguelite. And so is Puzzle Dungeon or some okay. Basic Shovel Knight is what I meant to say. So, yeah, this is the one exception where, here in Showdown, they actually do give you lives, because it's supposed to be an arcade-style version. It's understandable here. And as such, I gotta be mindful of not losing my matches, but also I have a stock limit myself, which also changes depending on what difficulty I'm playing. And yeah, this is admittedly the worst RNG to get for, like, the first combatant. Seriously, this is just tragic. I feel like I was not at all facing off against Treasure Knight earlier when I was warming up. It's clear that the game wants to, like, prove a point to me right now, which as we like to call marathon luck. So I'm gonna just try to give this a little bit of serious time. You tried to give me the thumbs up. Yeah, okay. All right. Tell you what, I'm gonna do something very, very silly. I'm actually going to ask if I lose this next match, because I have a 27-minute estimate, I am going to quickly ask if we can reset the RNG by having myself reselect Baz for the story mode, because I don't necessarily want to give too much trouble, per se. I actually, the 27-minute estimate is just for me to, that's me being very, very, and I mean very generously safe, in that you never know what this game can do to you. So I figured, in case I happen to get this kind of rotten luck later in the run. But, I can't really think of much else solution, because, yeah, again, Treasure Knight is just a huge bully. And you're probably thinking, well, aren't you able to run this game regardless of how many characters you have unlocked? And if you're actually asking me that, then good on you. Yes, because not a lot of people might recognize that this game does not require you to have 100% character and stage completion. This was personally a choice done by myself to also sort of widen up on the amount of playable character options for other event runs, which, yes, that also would include if I were to do a race with someone else, which was totally the case with my friend Rose Zorn at one point, so, shout out to her. I would say that we were looking at some, I was going to say we were looking at some better luck until I get captured by that card. Oh, never mind, we're good again. Okay, well, the real challenge begins. Unfortunately, that does probably mean I'm more than likely not going to PB this run, but hey, I don't really know what to expect with Showdown more often than not anyway. Okay, now that we have finally pushed through that first match, let me talk a little bit about RNG with this game, in that stage decisions and match decisions go between a pattern of stuff that is static and stuff that is random. You're always going to be guaranteed a treasure clash for stage 1 and a showdown for stage 2, which is your traditional stock battle. And as such, it's usually the opponents that get decided for you. So that's one thing that's random, but once we go into stage 3, we'll be entering the first story arc stage, if you will, and that there are some things about some characters and who they fight or what they do that are predetermined, and this is because, well, each character in Showdown... Okay, that's never happened before. I had to say it, because I don't think I ever recall any kind of a marathon run where the CPUs just stood there.
He said it never happened.
It's true, it's true. What can I say, Song? What can I say?
Everybody,
Right.
mark your bingo cards off.
Yes, if y'all got bingo cards, that's all nice and cool. I keep forgetting to do bingo cards and March Madness for that matter, so...
Honestly,
Alas.
this looks so hectic. Good on you for running this game.
Hey, it's just kind of fun that way. Sometimes I like the sense of chaos, and, there's not really much else you can do to it. But people also seem to understand that, and, you know, there's a decent amount of runners that have adorned the leaderboard. Heck, I even once convinced one of my commentators for a marathon run to give this a shot for a while, and he managed to snag 2nd place on the medium category, so shout out to Alex Ashpool. Alright, let's see here.
That's actually really cool to hear.
Oh, yeah, no.
Also, as everybody said, that spike into the lava on the first round, smooth.
Oh, you better believe it. So that's the funny part about this game. You'll notice that I do try to use this little defensive maneuver, which is the parry, but because it is a parry, that all it really does is push the opponent back. It doesn't damage them, which I do wish that was the case sometimes, because, you know, being able to actually punish somebody proper for trying to attack me is a lot more satisfying than, say, just a simple knockback, but as long as it involves some lava, you know, we're all good. I'm actually going to let the time run out on this one. We get to explain a bit of timer optimization going on here, where if you are within the final seconds or so of a match, you're probably better off just letting the clock run out, because if you got to go through the victory jingle if you win the match normally, then, yeah, that's just gonna waste you a bit more time in a RTA sense, so, yeah, it's one of the things that I do decide on the fly, having run this game for a decent long while. Pretty sure it was either late 2020 or or somewhere around 2021 that I started, and, you know, it always seemed pretty cool. Now, this battle set, this rule set, so this is the first of the really random ones, and we got the Zorix cubes going on here. You'll notice that they're, at the start of the match, said a little something called player damage ignored. Well, that's partially a lie, because player damage is still involved, so long as it involves the laser shooting cubes. So, you know, I'm mostly going to want to worry about, like, just, you know, gem collection, because you also notice that the CPUs, they have infinite stock, so no point in trying to defeat them entirely. There's just, it ain't gonna happen, buddy. Not worth it. Gotta be a little careful here, though. Yeah, it doesn't look like I can parry the lasers, which I totally would have assumed otherwise. Alright. No! Unfortunate. Okay. We'll have to do that one more time. I was trying to prepare myself to jump over that laser, and we are actually looking a little bit low on lives. Again, that's the reason why I submitted the estimate, too, because, you know, anything can happen in a game like this one. But let's try that again. Okay, there we go. Big important thing, by the way. While it looks like I could parry in the midst of collecting a gem, the game doesn't really want you to do that. Yacht Club balanced things out so that you can't collect gems while you are in the middle of iframes or while you are parrying, so, you know, that's one of the big downsides of taking damage, period, in Showdown. Just the fact that you can't really do much when it comes to a treasure clash, so try not to take damage. That's a lot of gems. Let's see if I can get that last one here, because I think the game just literally gave me my get out of jail card. Okay, not quite entirely. That's fine. Let's see if I can do something about this. There we go. Now that right there is what you call a comeback.
Yeah, that was really smooth. All of the gems appearing in the middle where you could get one swing on them, that was a great way to save yourself there.
Very much so. Yeah, Baz is a nice contender for a character that can really do wonders for a speedrun, because he is very mobile with his Castlevania-like whip action going on, and you notice that I can create an imaginary hook for him to swing on, and then he just bounces back and forth, and yeah, he's a very fun character to play as. He's just, you know, one of those things where I'd say he's definitely a beginner-friendly enough fella, but, you know, he's also got a few intermediate twists about him as well. So we've entered the mid-game. This is Percy's targets. Shout out to Percy, and shout out to I believe his introduction was Plague of Shadows, but he's also especially notable for King of Cards, I believe it was. And then Yeah, let's talk about how you complete this stage. So, you'll notice he's sending out all these hay bales at me, and this is essentially break the targets from Smash. It's nothing too fancy. The idea is that I have a score target to reach, so I want to get there as soon as possible, and we are already doing a spectacular job at that. Try to avoid hitting bombs, because if you do, they will explode and dock some points off of you. And then, if they go all the way out into the stage, they turn into points. But if they're connected to a chain of hay bales, destroy the hay bales, and then they'll automatically convert to points. Try not to take too much damage, though, because if you die, you lose 10 seconds. You know, you've got a timer, but you also got limited stocks. A few things to account for. I'm just glad that the green slime targets didn't give me too much trouble, because if you try to use a projectile attack on them, it'll only work for one target, and if you try to use a melee attack, it'll push you back. So, yeah, my essential mortal enemy when it comes to Percy's targets. And fun fact, there is another category to the Shovel Knight leaderboard, which is a very unorthodox one for SRC. It's called Targets, where you go into the endless target mode, and instead of trying to beat the thing in a fast amount of time, since it's a survival mode, instead you're supposed to last a very long time. And I just recently looked it up. It turns out that at least a day ago, somebody managed, in Canada, I believe it was, managed to break the record for, and it's not even a contest right now. The world record for longest target endurance, over 1 hour 30 minutes. The previous record was 35 minutes. So, yeah.
was there new strats found, or was he just
no?
that good
I don't
at the...
believe so. I don't think so. They just must have been really cracked at using Plague Knight that it just happened, and they were so dedicated to the craft. So yeah, props to that runner, whose name I don't quite know how to pronounce. But yeah, no, big congratulations.
That's amazing to hear. Incredible to be an hour plus ahead of second place.
Seriously so. And then we got to talk a little bit about this current map, the House of Joustus, which, shout out to King of Cards, of course. It seems like Mona, though, is trying to get an edge on the lead. I'm sorry, Mona, you may be best girl, but I'm not going to let you get away that easily. Oh, this is good. Okay, hang on a second. Just got to make sure I don't choke. And what's funny about that was I could have just simply got, like, a single gem and that would have been it, but no. You know what? One away from match point and still being able to survive the clock, that's pretty cool. Alrighty. Oh yeah, we should talk about different stage sizes. You'll notice the user interface is for whatever reason constantly changing scale depending on whether I'm fighting in a medium, small, or large stage. It can be a bit disorienting sometimes, but aside from that, you know, stage size is pretty self-explanatory. We should, however, talk about how some levels have screen wrapping, in that you are able to go through what looks like bottomless pits, but in fact you'll be just fine. And the Lich Yard here is one of those levels. There's also one from Tinker Knight's level. And then we also got some stages where it horizontally allows you to scroll. Like when I was fighting Mr. Hat, which, by the way, that was the first part of the Baz story, if you will, so fighting him is always going to be a given. And yeah. Oh, that's a bit scary. Well, the good news about this team battle is that you'll notice some of the CPUs, not all of them, they have limited stocks, so provided that I can just even out the competition, you know. Okay, just one more to get. But they're not giving me much hope for it. Okay, just gotta stay up there. Nice! That could have been really scary. Oh hey, for those that don't know, you can taunt in this game. If you hold up or down, your character will do a little animation. It's pretty cool. Oh yeah, here we go. So the penultimate stage, there's like 9 to 10 levels in total. The last one is sort of 2 in 1. But here we have the order of sorry, the way I speak has me slip up a little bit sometimes. The Order of No Quarter this is a special match where you face off against all of the usual bosses. So, Spectre Knight, Plague Knight, Treasure Knight, Tinker Knight, Mole Knight, Propeller Knight, Polar Knight, and, who am I forgetting? Oh, King Knight. Yeah. You gotta take down all of them. And for each stock you take off of a character, they'll swap into the next one. This stage right here, the Armor Outpost, is pretty nifty in that you notice there is a water pit. So, I'm gonna actually try to move... Wait, where did I spawn? Okay. Sorry, I thought it was gonna spawn up top. I literally thought so. I'm gonna try and lure these characters right here. Ooh. Okay, yeah, that kind of backfired. Whoops. Alright, well, let's at least try to whittle down my opponents. We'll start with Mole Knight. We'll start with Mole Knight. I'm so glad he didn't get that apple, because that would have been so bad. Okay, comes down to Polar Knight. Okay, this could be a bit dicey now. I should probably try to use Baz's charge attack, because each character has a I didn't think so. Each character has a respective moveset. It's a very simplistic way of controls, because there's using the X button, the Y button, and then sometimes they can charge up moves. Baz's little lightning attack, though, only really stuns. So it's kind of like getting a parry off, but aside from that, it can have some limited usage, so it's easy for me to forget more often than not. So, let's try this again.
Can I jump in for 1 second?
Absolutely.
No problem. Thank you so much. All right, everybody, just letting you know, Indiethon Spring 2024 is raising money for Fred Hutch Cancer Research Center. You can donate to support their amazing efforts by going to tracker.indiethon.com/donate. And if you do donate, we do have some prizes for you as well. All thanks to Team 17, who is our supporter for this event. They're an independent indie game publisher based in the United Kingdom, and they have given us some really cool packs, such as the Metroidvania pack, the Narrative pack, the Horror pack, and the Grand Prize pack. So, and they start at $10 for minimum donations, so if you'd like to get your chances at some of those, please put your donations in. Otherwise, thank you all so much for being here and supporting the runners and the staff, and everything else. And back to Shovel Knight Showdown.
Thank you, Song. And what the heck was going on just a moment ago? It looks like everybody was just noping the way out of here and taking a bath. And yeah, I don't know why, but this is a very good example of how the CPU behavior in this game can just change on a whim. It's the best thing ever. But
well, I did see on the title screen your best time was 11 minutes, and that's incredible. So,
oh yeah, that's IGT actually. This game does give you a best time for your just about like IGT wise. Like I said, the official SRC leaderboard does do this off of RTA, so it's not like that makes a huge difference per se, but like it does track with each character your best time within like their respective runs, and also the highest difficulty you've completed, so, you know, it's nice. It's definitely nice. Alright, the final showdown. So, we've got one more rematch with Mr. Hat right here, and I think we are... Yep, okay, good. So Mr. Hat is also a Kickstarter backer character, and as such, the fight theme is the one which plays whenever you fight those guest characters, and it is one of my favorite fight songs of the entire Shovel Knight soundtrack. Seriously, it's so good. It is also the leitmotif used when guest characters win in Showdown, so you got the general victory theme, you got the one for Plague Knight, there's the one for Spectre Knight, and then there's King Knight. And I believe that, aside from guest characters, that is it, so... And a nice touch, though, is that Mona, by the way, Best Girl Mona, is also one to have the Plague Knight victory theme. Really cool. Okay, so I'm going to play a little safely, try to bounce Mr. Hat back. Mr. Hat is a very fun character, though. I love the fact that he's basically Mega Man, except his powers generate from... It's all coming from hats. Alright, gonna need just a bit of a moment really quick. Nice, we got it. All right, so that's a little trick that I discovered before a marathon run. So normally runners keep in mind that once the victory theme finishes playing, your character automatically moves all the way to the right in order to engage the transition to the final stage of the game here against the Mirror of Fate. And as it just so happens, the game will not only track your character's overall movement, but if they're in the midst of an attack where they are already moving, then, yeah, it turns out that actually works too. And my favorite, this is why now you understand why I love running with Baz, because just showing off swinging into the transition point is just so much fun. I still remember doing this for, I believe it was Speedrun Ragnarok, and my commentators, which was Zorn and my friend David TKI, they were just blown away by it. And it's just such a cool thing. But aside from that, yeah, the Mirror of Fate is not the easiest contender to deal with. It has multiple ways of trying to collect gems in this treasure clash phase. One of which being creating these dark clones which go down in 2 hits. The other being if these magical fireballs just so happen to collect the gems, therefore turning them into bombs. And then there's that little energy tongue right there. And the worst part is, unlike other opponents, you can't get it to cough up the gems it's already collected. Ooh, so that's going to be a bit unfortunate, because now we are in a very tight position where I am on my final continue. Now, let's see if we can at least get this one right. I'm going to play just a little bit more safely, but... Song, what is my current timer saying?
So you're about 24 minutes in.
Oh, okay, so I guess we will have to mercy kill the run if I do fail, but at the very least, I'm grateful for the opportunity to just be able to get this far anyhow, so, you know, all's good.
This does not look like an easy run, I'm just gonna say that right now. It looks very chaotic.
That's medium difficulty for you. It has been a little while since I've run this, but admittedly, even with as much practice as I could put into it, that's just how it goes sometimes, so... At the all the same, I'm just glad that my estimate decision for this submission was on the mark. And if nothing else, the fact that I showcase this is just more for the fun rather than the speed, if nothing else. Alright, let's see if we can fix this, though.
Well, I mean, that's why we're here. We're not here to, you know, get world records or PBs. It's about the showcase. It's about putting on a show for people, and, you know, it's entertainment. It's the commentary, which you have had no dead air, so thank you so much for having great commentary.
Oh, believe me, there's a lot of moments where I feel like I should have taken a breath. Okay, this is going to be a bit troublesome. Oh, I do not like this at all. Okay. One step at a time. I didn't collect that, though. Okay. Unfortunate, but that's how it goes sometimes. Yeah, basically how that would have went down is as follows. If I had collected the 15 gems in time, then all it would have meant was I had a traditional boss fight, where the weak point would have been the Mirror's Eye, and, you know, it happens. Yeah, unfortunately, I think because we are close to the time and stuff, tell you what, I'm gonna do you a little something here. If we got just a few more minutes within the timer, we could stop the. We'll stop the timer, by the way. But if I got just a couple minutes, I can quickly do you one better. I'm gonna, if we got a moment, is that okay, Song?
I don't know, actually. Let me see if I can get confirmation on that.
I'm just gonna need like a few minutes. That's all.
It looks like you stopped the timer at 26 minutes, and your estimate was 27.
Right.
So you have about a minute until your estimate.
Okay. Then in that case, let's get this one over with.
Rematch the Baz? You're gonna fight Baz?
Yeah, I figure, you know, might as well. We only got 40 seconds anyway.
Well, while you're doing that, would you like to give a shout out to your Twitch channel or the community for Shovel Knight Showdown?
Absolutely. If you would like to speedrun this game for yourself, then please go ahead and do so. It's very easy to get in, it's very easy to get into. And I mean very, very easy to get into. Like, all you need to do is join the Discord server, where I believe there is a separate one for the Showdown speedrunning community. I never actually got to join, but I've been mostly through the Spade Brigade, which is the main Shovel Knight community. So, you know, if you want to speedrun any of the, if you want to speedrun Shovel of Hope, Plague of Shadows, Spectre, was it Spectre of Torment? Right. And then King of Cards, give us a check. We have our Discord link attached to the speedrun leaderboards. You know, we're a very friendly community and all that jazz. And this won't be the last you see of me. Tomorrow I will actually be presenting to you all Spark the Electric Jester 2. So hopefully we'll have a much better time there. And yeah, thank you so much for allowing me to showcase Shovel Knight. Again, thank you, Yacht Club, for all your years of just making such a really, really cool and accessible game, a beloved indie icon at that. And yeah, I think that'll do it for me. So yeah, as I continue to eventually pummel Baz into submission, hope to see you all soon. Until next time, though, ciao, Michi.
Awesome. Once again, everybody, thank you so much for being here, and everybody give a shout out to tempestmask1000 for the great run. Whether he completed it or not, it was a lot of fun to watch. It's a very chaotic and very hard run, as you can tell. But once again, thank the runner for being here.